Good morning, everyone. If you're wondering what happened to my mulberry tree, the goats happened. I got woken up this morning by Mum ringing me and telling me that all 5 goats were out. And look what they've done. They've happily chomped away at my mulberry. They haven't touched the citrus, which is great. They ate my irises, which is not great. I had some beautiful irises on. Knocked over the aloe vera, but that's not tragic. But I'm going to try and salvage that by chopping it right down there and then turning it all into cuttings and hopefully propagate it. They also ate my 3-way apple tree, so it's lost most of its leaves. Knocked over the blueberries. I'm a bit grumpy with my goats at the moment. And I'm also quite sick at the moment as well, so I really didn't need this. And Jonathan's not well at the moment. He kept me up half the night crying with an ear infection, and I'm just feeling wretched. And honestly, the last thing I want to do at the moment is anything in the garden. They also chomped back that mulberry. I haven't checked the rest of the property to see what else they got into. Darn naughty goats. I should probably have my food forest area completely fenced off. And part of the problem is the chain I had on the gate just wasn't tight enough to keep the gate shut properly, and they got out. But yeah, anyway, let's take this disaster and turn it into something less disastrous. So I'm going to be able to get quite a lot of cuttings out of this. There's no chance that these mulberries are going to ripen, which is really sad. We were really looking forward to those, because this is the second time the goats have caused carnage on my mulberries, and they knocked over my elderberry. Oh dear. So I'm hopefully going to be able to cut that down nicely so that it's a nice clean cut, so that it sprouts back nice, I hope. But let's see how we go. Well, I've at least gotten it down, and what I've discovered is my secateurs are not up to the task. I'm going to need to get Gavin to sort that out, maybe with a chainsaw, to tidy that up and give that poor tree half a chance of survival. But I can at least cut up those little branches. It looks like there is actually a new branch forming down the base there, so it has half a chance. We're going to take these branches over to the house and do this in the shade. After much arguing with blunt secateurs, that's what I've got to work with. Sorry, I'm a bit shattered. Starting to feel like 2 steps forward and 500 back. And I know it's not that catastrophic. And I need to not catastrophize. And I need to look at the fact that, yeah, it was just one tree that got chomped down. It was just the one that was really bringing me a lot of happiness to see it growing so well. And hopefully I'll be able to convince them to propagate, and then I'll have lots more mulberry trees to propagate. And just, I think half it's because I didn't sleep well last night. The other half is because I'm sick. And my secateurs are not sharp. I can't find my gardening tools. It's just not a good morning. But we'll just keep planting. I just found another casualty of the goat escapade this morning. Strangely enough, they left a lot of other things alone in this garden, which is great. But looks like they chomped off the top of my frangipani. They chomped off the top of all the mulberry. They had a bit of a chomp on the raspberries. I think they may have had a bit of a chomp on the macadamia. And they chomped the top off my pawpaw that I'd only just planted completely. Ah, dear. And they had an effect on the moringa as well. So anyway, so these are the cuttings that I've got. So I've got that pot, the big one in the middle. I'm using those 3 pots around the outside to hold that cutting upright, because it's quite a big one. I probably could have cut that in half actually. I might still do that and make 2 cuttings out of it. And my big problem at the moment though is I've actually run out of potting mix. So yeah, so I've got all of those cuttings. Those cuttings I took a while ago. So same tree, but now what I've also done is I've actually put a little bit of aloe vera gel around the base of each of the trunks, each of the stems anyway. I heard somewhere that if you have aloe vera gel and honey, raw honey, can help the cuttings strike. But my raw honey is all rock solid because we're still coming out of winter, surprisingly enough, considering how hot it is. We're actually expecting a 38 degrees Celsius day tomorrow. It's going to be really, really hot. Sorry I had the colour wrong there, but I probably should take a few more of these leaves off, but I'm wrecked. I really am. I'm really not feeling very well at all. And I've moved some other plants around the side here. Got all sorts of things happening here. That's a bit of comfrey root that's coming out of the soil. Oops, probably should put some more soil on there. Got some pigeon peas that I'm striking. That's a butternut squash. Noisy roosters, they need to go in the freezer. At least that one does. And hopefully we'll have some Rhode Island red chicks hatching soon. But that's basically the update. I'm wrecked. My lungs are really not happy. I need to go rest for a little while, I think. I hope your gardens are doing well and that you haven't had goats escape and eat all your mulberries. I did get a lot of cuttings, and hopefully they strike. Hopefully I get some more mulberry trees out of them, because what I'm wanting to do is actually line the driveway. So I'm wanting to line both sides of the driveway with mulberries, just having them further apart, because the trees that are on the driveway at the moment, they're actually quite, they're going to encourage fires. So if a fire starts down there, it'll just go whoosh up the driveway. But the mulberry tree has a fire retardant property, whereas those trees are Australian natives and have high oil contenty type native trees, so they would go up quite quickly. So I don't want them on the driveway, and they're making the driveway too narrow. So I'm wanting to line the driveway with mulberries, but have them further away so that the driveway's not as small. So it's easier to fit trucks and etc. down there. Anyway, so this could be a good thing if my mulberries strike. Here's hoping. Pray for my mulberries. Although those pots that I've got in there aren't just mulberries. And those mulberry cuttings at the back are actually from Anita. She gave me some cuttings about 2 months ago. I don't know whether they're doing anything really, but what do? You just wait and see. And she also gave me some grape cuttings, and a couple of those look like they've actually struck. So kind of excited about that. At least they're growing. But we've got a very hot day coming here tomorrow, so I'm still working on sorting out some solutions to make it so there are cooler spots for the goats. Putting water into the IBCs that are out there, just so that they've got that cooling effect out there. So yes, and I need to set up another waterer for them. So anyway, I gotta go. I need to go curl up somewhere and have a rest. Look at that Pinot, isn't it doing well? Honestly, I'm grateful that the goats didn't eat more than they did. I'm just really disappointed that they damaged the trunk of that tree. That was one of the first trees that we planted when we moved in here. And it was doing so well. I was so pleased with it. And for it to be basically down to the ground now because of damage to the trunk, it's really quite sad. I'm hoping it comes back nicely. It should have a pretty decent root structure, so I guess we'll just wait and see what happens. But that spot of the garden looks very different now. It's very sad. Anyway, you have a great day. Remember, you're either ripe and rotting or you're green and growing. And try to find a silver lining for every cloud. I'll catch you in the comment section. Bless you.